Hockey town, going down to hockey town, whoa, whoa. Hockey town, take me down to hockey town, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello, hockey fans. The Minnesota Hockey Connection is on the air. We're on the air for the next half hour. I'm Kenny Gallagher along with Jerry Burrow. And Jerry, let's dive right into what's left of the hockey season. High school's far behind us, but we still have the NAHL playoffs in Cloquet, the Minnesota Wilderness. They are tied with Janesville in their series at 1, and they'll resume play this weekend in Cloquet, the Minnesota Wilderness, and Janesville Jets Friday and Saturday in Cloquet. It's a best-of-5 series.
Right.
And so the Minnesota Wilderness have to win 2 more games. So the defending Robertson Cup champion Minnesota Wilderness still playing hockey.
Right. And if they can do that, most likely they'll be going up to Alaska for the second round.
Oh, really?
For Fairbanks,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
But this year, the North American Hockey League's doing something a little different. They're going to have the semis and the final down in Edina.
I saw that. So in the past, did they just have the top seed, if you will?
Right.
They were the host.
Right.
So this year they're going to a neutral site.
Right.
And that's Bramer Arena in Edina.
Right. So they'll have the top 4 teams, and then they'll have a 3-game series in the semis, and then just a 1-game series for the finals. That's kind of weird to me.
How do they pick that venue? Is that home to the Magicians or what is
No, it's not home. They're over in Richfield.
Where do they play? The Richfield team.
In Richfield.
They're-
I mean, Magicians play
Yeah.
in Richfield.
What's the arena there? That's what I meant.
It's Richfield Arena.
Richfield Arena. All right.
Yeah. That's where the Holy Angels plays their game. And when Richfield High School had a team, when Darby Hendrickson, but they just stopped. They're stopping high school hockey. They don't have the numbers.
Who?
Richfield.
I'm not even familiar with that team.
Yeah, they're in the Hill Murray League.
Okay.
And they haven't been good. Hill Murray used to stop playing with them during the game, and scores will still be 12-1. And
Well, where do
stuff
those
like
kids play then? Are they going to Hill Murray?
that. I guess they can go to a different team, play on a different team if they don't have hockey.
So Richfield will discontinue their hockey program.
Yep, for now,
Yeah.
because they just don't have the numbers.
They ever won a championship? Is there anything there that...
Boy, that's a hard one. They came close, but East upset them when they had their good teams.
Back in the 90s? Or
Yeah, early
in the-
90s there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was the 91 team at East when they went to the finals with Hill Murray. So,
And that is Darby Hendrickson alma mater.
yes.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
And I think he was on that team when they played
Okay.
him. So,
So the NAHL will hold their championship game, their semifinals, at Bramer Arena in Edina
right.
in May.
In high school, there's still the high performance going on. Next weekend in Plymouth is the top 54 players. There'll be 3 teams from Minnesota that play against each other at 16 and 17-year-olds. So they have to be born in the year 2000 for the 17s and 1999 for the 16s. And then from now, there'll be 3 teams that play against each other. And they even play the 17s against the 16s. They got some format, but they'll get about 5 games in, all these teams, and then they'll pick one team to go to New York, and that's where a lot of scouting and recruits go to because they can see the up-and-coming players. In a couple of years, the draft, they'll be in the draft.
Howie Hansen, who writes the Howie blog, he had a story in there about Andy Walensky and who's the Forbert? Derek Forbert.
Mm-hmm.
And they both are in the minor leagues.
Right.
And they met in a game.
Because Andy's Anaheim and then L.A. Kings is Forbert, and they're both real close to each other. I think the Anaheim franchise is American League Hockey League franchise is down in San Diego.
Now, did their high
Not
school
sure.
playing days, were they parallel? Did they play together in high school?
If they did, Forberg graduated before.
Did Forbert?
Yes.
Did he play his senior season?
No,
that was my
he
thought.
He went to the U.S. 18 team.
All right,
development team.
So he played through his junior year.
Right, and Andy left early too. He went on down to Green Bay in the USHL. But in his second year,
two former Greyhounds now playing against one another. But I was struck by the fact that here is Derek, a number 1 draft pick, 15th overall. And it doesn't seem like he will be able to or will play in the at the NHL level. He's had a few games, but
well, things happen. They traded for and they got a couple extra defensemen, and that put them back into the American Hockey League, and that hurt him. But hey, you never know. He might be trade bait. You know, some team might like his style and that. So he's a big boy. He's I think he's about 6'3.5".
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the UNB Bulldogs. Andy Walensky's gone. Some of the players that did stay include Dominic Tonanano.
Right. Good. That's going to be one of the best kids staying.
What about this recruiting class? I'm hearing a lot about Tufty and this goalie that we're bringing in.
Miska. Yeah. Miska, he's been playing. I mean, he went down to the USA development team for 2 years. Then he went over to Dubuque, where he's in the USHL. And he's been, I'd say that they're averaging about 2.5 goals per game, which is not bad. And his save percentage has been about .920. So not bad. But I think it's a tough job for him to come in, and if he wins the job, freshman, that's tough in a league like that they're in.
I'm trying to think, was Kenny Ryder, was he a starter as a freshman?
I don't think he was.
I don't think he was either, but
no.
I'm trying to think of who was. Was Isaac Reichmuth, was he a starter?
No, Casimir was.
There you go. There you go.
Their last one.
Yeah.
And I think Stalock was.
Okay, sure.
I'm not sure there.
Yeah.
But,
Well, the future of the Bulldogs is a little cloudy because some key players, graduation, some players left early. But, if
they can find a goalie that plays decent, consistent, I think they'll be all right.
Good.
But if that's going to be their number one concern right now. So we'll see. But we got a whole season, summer to wait, and there's some good recruits coming in at forward. So looking forward to see what these new kids do.
Well, speaking of new kids, I see you've got Alex Tuck written on your notes there. Alex Tuck, a draft pick of the Wild, played for Boston College, and now his college career is over and his professional career begins.
Yep, they signed him, and most likely he'll be down in Iowa playing for the American Hockey League team. But he played 2 years at Boston College, and they say he's been a great player, two-way player. And so, hey, we need players like that that can play two-way.
Yeah, we need some goal scorers, don't we, on this?
Yeah, we need some goal scorers. He's not really a big goal scorer, but he sees the ice real well, and he gets a lot of assists. I think he had 14 goals for Boston College this last year.
Yeah.
So, but that's, I think there's a future for the Wild with him. He just needs to get the experience and get a couple more years of experience, and I think he'll be up in 3 years if he keeps on developing.
Well, the Minnesota Wild are in the midst of the NHL playoffs, down 2-0 in the playoffs against Dallas. Monday, we're taping the show. They play tonight against Dallas, the first home game, playoff home game. And the losing streak continues now. They ended the regular season with 5 losses, and now it's up to 7 with the 2 playoff losses. I mentioned earlier, where's the team that beat Chicago in that outdoor game? Where's that team that went on those long runs after Torchetti was named coach and has the ability to be a dominant team at times? They're just, it's very inconsistent.
People are saying, we don't have Parisi, but you know what? Vanek, we don't have. But every team goes through injuries.
Of course.
So what do they do? I mean,
Yeah.
they keep doing. I think the Wild are going to have a hard time winning a game right now. And unless Dubnyk has, on top of his game, plays one of his better games,
Well,
I don't see it.
I'm glad you brought that up because Dubnyk, he's played well.
Right.
He got the contract extension, but he hasn't been a shutdown goalie this season. Last season, it seems like he really, was. He came in here and resurrected this team.
He's got a lot of shutouts toward the end of the season, though. So,
but there's just something that's not there that seems to be that, to me, that he could be playing at even a higher level. But then do you expect that? Do you expect your goalie to be the best player? Well, sometimes you do, I guess. But
right.
Yeah, this team is looking for somebody that can score goals. 2 playoff games, 1 goal.
1 goal, yeah. You can't win. You're not going to win really any game.
And I don't want
1 goal.
to. I don't want to pick on our captain Mikko Koivu, but when it comes to the playoffs, he disappears off the score sheet.
You know what's kind of funny? They got rid of Yoel. And what's different in this team now?
The head coach.
Is it the coach
Yeah,
again?
yeah.
Blame the coach?
Yeah. Well, it's been reported that Yo is a candidate, at least, for Ottawa.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck to him.
Well, what happens at the end of this season? Does Torchetti? I don't think he comes back.
They better win some. If they better win some games with Dallas, then I don't see him coming back either. It'll be his 3rd time as interim coach.
And here's my thought on this too, though, is that he's been an assistant everywhere he's gone. He's been an interim coach 3 times, and he hasn't stuck. So what's going to be different this time? I think this team is underachieving. And then again, I don't know. Is this a result of what Chuck Fletcher has given them?
Well, a lot of people are going that way now.
I mean, look at the lineup.
When the people that are negative with the team are saying it's Fletcher's fault. So, time will tell.
Well, things could be worse. We could be Toronto.
Ooh.
Huh? Things aren't going well in Toronto.
So we are doing good.
And that's a team, that's a city that demands a good hockey team, and they just haven't had one for...
And they still fill that stadium up and over 21,000 fans in that big stadium.
Yeah. They want to be
there.
They
love their hockey, but how can you watch that kind of hockey day in and day out?
They hope that they witness the turnaround, and it hasn't come yet in Toronto, but maybe with this batch of UMD players it will. Speaking of UMD players, or at least Duluth players, Trevor Olson from Duluth, who played at Duluth East, he's a national champion.
Yeah. I was down at Tampa for the Frozen Four, and I'll tell you what, the first game, Trevor, right about 5 minutes left in the game was tied. He hit this guy on the board right on the top of his shoulder, and his elbow went right into his head. So the refs took about 5 minutes deciding what to do to give him a 5-minute contact to the head. Well, North Dakota might have got lucky, I don't know, but Trevor only got a 2. And they killed off that penalty, and then they scored a goal and went on to the final game, championship game. And then, everyone knows what happened in the championship game. They just dominated the whole game.
They sure did.
Yeah, and then I tell you what, they get these players. I mean, this Brock Besser from Burnsville for them on the right winger, man.
A freshman.
Yeah, and there's good news. He's going to be coming back next year. So that's
to
good
North Dakota?
Yeah.
That's good news for North Dakota fans.
Because he's a number one. Let's see, he was a first-round draft pick, too.
Okay.
So that's good news for them.
My goodness.
But congratulations to North Dakota and Mr. Berry. Tell you what, first year coach for North Dakota. First year this ever happened where coach comes in first year in NCAA D1 and wins the national title.
Let's talk about North Dakota. Dave Haxtell leaves and goes to the pros, and he's got to be a candidate for Coach of the Year in the NHL.
Right.
Barry steps in and takes the team to the national championship. Now, granted, they have an arena that's eloquent and elaborate and opulent, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But yet Amsoil Arena was ranked number 1 by an online website that does, I can't remember the name of it, Stadium Journey, I think is the name of the website.
I met the guy that does that.
So you've got that. Yet North Dakota, year after year, puts together a championship caliber team. What is it that North Dakota does every single year? It's not the draw of that arena. There's something more there. There's a tradition. Yeah. There's a coaching staff that kids want to play for. Is that?
Well, these are all these coaches that are coaching there are all ex-North Dakota players.
Is their recruiting just so much better than the rest of the league?
Well, it's looking like it, isn't it?
But again, I've always been.
But they haven't won a championship since 2000. So it took them 16 years. I mean, they got to the Frozen Four, but there was 6 years in a row they lost that first game. It was like the Hermantown in high school.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of where I'm coming from is that they're always one of the best teams in the nation.
Right.
Year after year after year.
The last 5 years, UMD won a national champs. They were one game away from going to the Frozen Four last 2 years, and I think there's one other year they were in the regions where came close too.
Yeah.
So
well, congratulations to the Fighting Hawks of North Dakota and their national championship. They beat Quinnipiac, and they handled them quite well. You were there.
Yep. And I'll tell you what I was really impressed with the Minnesota kids on North Dakota. Shane Gersich scored the opening goal. I mean, Besser got 3 assists that championship game in a goal.
Now, Gersich has an interesting twist to Duluth.
Yeah, his dad was raised here and went to Duluth Central, was a good hockey player at Duluth Central. And then there's another Minnesota kid from St. Cloud, Austin Poganski. He scored. I mean, I'm telling you, and Trevor Olson, Duluth East.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting a lot of time in that championship game and the semifinal.
So what's his status? He's a sophomore. He'll be a junior next year.
Right.
He's a draft pick of?
He's not. He's a free agent.
He is.
So he'll be going against Jake Randolph, another Duluth East kid next year. A lot of Duluth East kids.
Wow.
Toninato. So that line is still together in Division I in the same league. So they'll be
Jake Randolph with Nebraska.
Yep. Don Toninato with the UMD and Trevor Olson. That was a line in high school, one of the best lines at the time in high school hockey.
I wonder if Coach Sandlin ever looked at the possibility of having those 3 kids here.
Well, funny thing about it, he never talked to 2 of them.
Well, that answers my question.
So,
all right.
So I'm not even going to get into that. But hey, all 3 of them
didn't even talk to Jake Randolph.
Never.
Didn't talk to Trevor.
Well,
that's irresponsible.
Someone might have talked to Trevor a little bit.
My goodness.
Just because they were good in high school wasn't their style for college, maybe.
All right. Well, so I guess 18 wins in a season is good enough for you and me.
Like everyone knows, Jimmy Vesey from Harvard, he won the Hobie Baker. So
yeah, I know there was some controversy in that pick because playing at Harvard and what is it, ECAC, compared to Kyle Connor, who just far and above was a better.
Well, he was the highest scorer in D1 hockey last year, highest scorer. But you have to look at it. Jimmy Vesey is a different kind of player. He plays both ways, and he plays both ways very well. And he might not get the scoring as much, but he is a top player.
Yeah.
And I think he'll do very well in the pros.
And that's the thing about the Hobie Baker, like the Heisman Trophy, is there's this criteria. There's more than just leading the nation in scoring.
It's your character. There's a lot of things involved.
Sure.
So your volunteering, your overall character. I mean, plus DC was a top 3 hat trick finalist last year too. So 2 years in a row he was a top 3, and Jack Eckel beat him out.
Now, what's his status for next season?
He's done. He's done with his college career. He's going for.
Yep. Oh, he is with.
Boy, who was it?
All right, but he will play professional hockey.
Right.
All right.
So that's that. With and Tampa's a good place to have hockey. I mean, it's only 82 degrees every day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's the argument too, though, Jerry, is that there's no Division I hockey programs in Florida,
Right.
and you're going to move it next year to where is it? Chicago.
It's Chicago.
And I don't know. I just why have it in Tampa and why not have it in Arizona where you do have Division I?
That might be coming down there too. But they're going to have. They always have the coaches meetings right after this. It'll be 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
2 weekends. A week.
Has
this
Detroit?
weekend.
What about Detroit? What about these larger East Coast metropolitan?
They already
cities?
had it, but they had it in their dome stadium, football stadium. So no one liked that.
Yeah.
They didn't like it.
All right.
Too far away from the rink and that. So I
Sure.
don't think they'll try that again. But they're going to have the coaches meeting down in Naples. It's Naples every year, and then so all the coaches come in and their assistants, and a lot of people in hockey go down there too. But funny thing about it, like Dean Blaze, he wants to get every rink in college hockey to be 200 by 85.
So he wants that Olympic size.
No, he wants National Hockey League size.
200 by
85.
85.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's 100 Olympic size.
Now, who was
200
this?
by Dean Blaze.
Okay. Okay. When you said, all right.
So he's going to be bringing that up.
Well, why not?
So everything's a standard rink for everyone.
Well, I've always struggled with this thought that Minnesota, the Gophers, have this large Olympic-sized rink, and yet the other teams don't. Well, it'd be like playing football at a different stadium on a different sized field, or any sport. It'd be like playing tennis on a different size tennis court.
Like playing
in a
football
different
here, and then you go
stadium.
up to Canada and you have to play.
And I
in
think
that.
there should be that continuity.
Right. But a lot of the teams, like all the teams, really have a second rink where it's a different size because of that. They made them that way. In case you go to.
Well, this could pose a
St.
big issue with a lot of these arenas, or maybe some older arenas.
But the Minnesota Gophers are thinking of, I think they're going to do it, is that reconstruct their rink to a National Hockey League size and put more seats.
Oh, sure.
Just for the, money.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
But then, St. Cloud State has to do it, and who else? CC, and who else has a big rink?
Yeah.
Most of them are National Hockey League size.
All right.
So, hey, it's something to talk about. Interesting. The World Juniors are going to be in Buffalo in 2018, but they're thinking of having outdoor games for that even now. The World Juniors.
Really?
And then they think they'll get Buffalo get the classic, Winter Classic there too. Then, because of that, Buffalo and having the outside.
Didn't
rink.
Buffalo already have one of those?
I think they did have.
I think they were the
World
first
Junior.
one. I think they were the first Winter Classic game.
Right. I'm not sure.
Yeah. All right.
But that's kind of interesting too. That's a good way of trying to get the game.
Wow. All right.
And we got, I guess some of our one of our recruits for UMD, Joey Anderson. He's playing good for the World Juniors, the U18, and he's got 3 assists one game. He's got a goal yesterday, I think it was. So he's doing real well down there, junior. So I think he's going to be a solid recruit. So that's good to hear. And Kiefer Bellows is doing real good for the USA team too.
Son of Brian.
Yep. He'll be going to Boston U after this year.
All right.
So Boston U is going to be, they're getting some of the best recruits in the nation. So watch out for that team But the thing is, they're so good, they don't last long in these teams because they go to pro.
So
they're going to be a first-round pick, these kids, like Bellows.
Did any of these? Did any discussions come up with Notre Dame and Notre Dame leaving Hockey East to go to the Big Ten?
I didn't hear too much about it. But I think
Does this turn Notre Dame into a Big Ten school or just a
Nope,
hockey?
just hockey. That's all it's about.
So they're not a big,
They're going to be independent. And
but they're going to play in the Big Ten Hockey League.
Right.
Okay.
And then they got their own football independent. Then they have basketball and they're in the league.
It seems like they would be a better fit and almost a logical fit to be in the NCHC. Notre Dame. I mean, if you're not a Big Ten school, how can you play in the Big Ten Conference?
Right. When you got the Miami of Ohio, you got Western Michigan, that would be a good fit. Get some more teams on that side. So traveling would be a lot easier for some of those teams for matchups. Yeah, that would be a better fit, I think.
Do you?
But see, Big Ten is trying to get from 6. They're trying to get build up so they might have 10, 12 teams.
Yeah, but there's other Big Ten schools that may or may not have a hockey program that they could start one, perhaps.
I was going to try to get Billy Robinson on, and he's the commissioner of the WCHA, and that's a good question to ask him.
Maybe the WCHA would.
Where does he think these teams belong in that?
Maybe the WCHA tried to get Notre Dame. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there was some vying from these.
I know that they'll probably be trying to get Arizona.
Yeah.
The WCHA.
All right.
Because I think they want to build that West Coast all the way up.
Well, it's a natural fit, a West Coast city, a West Coast college, if you will.
Yep.
All right, Jer. Well, what else?
Well, I just heard, like Minot State over in North Dakota, they're thinking about going D1 hockey.
Are they the club now or what?
They're D2.
Oh, okay.
But that'd be funny.
Well, there's no D2 hockey. It must be D3.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I just read about it. I thought I know that what it was. It was the Vancouver, do I have it here? The Fraser, I forget what they call it, but they're out in Vancouver. I didn't even know you can be a D2 hockey in Canada playing in the United States.
So Minot State.
Yeah, it's just talk.
Sure.
The thing is, they are talking just without a stadium. You need about $30 million just for scholarships. Then you need some extra money for other things. Then a stadium.
Do you think Minot State could compete with North Dakota? In the state of North Dakota, those two colleges?
Well, it'll take a hell of a coach that can recruit.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be funny, though?
Well, let's wait and see. I mean, it's neat that they're having that discussion.
Well, I think there's a lot of teams out there that have great club teams. I'm thinking, but they need someone with big money like Penn State.
Yeah.
Get the owner of the Buffalo team that will give $100 million.
The Minnesota Hockey Connection, you can find us online, Minnesota Hockey Connection. Also on Facebook. Look for us on Facebook. We have a YouTube channel. Look for us on YouTube. We broadcast in Cloquet as well. Check your cable listings in Cloquet. For Jerry Burrow and myself. Hey, we want to thank the staff at PACT-TV. This program is recorded, taped in the studios at PACT-TV in City Hall, so thank you to them. And Jerry, with that, I guess we'll be back here next week to drop the puck and kind of wrap up some playoff hockey.
Yeah, and get out maybe to Cloquet and see a good playoff game with the Wilderness and Jamestown.
Yep, Janesville this weekend.
Janesville, that's what it is.
Janesville Jets and the Minnesota Wilderness.
Friday and Saturday.
In Cloquet this weekend. We'll be back here next week to drop the puck. We'll see you then.
Hockey town, going down to hockey town, whoa, whoa. Hockey